Okay, what do we have here? This is the back of a package of sausages, the part where it lists the ingredients. The first ingredient listed is pork. That's no surprise. So why am I talking about it? The part in parentheses right after pork is what bugs me. Right, this part says genzairyo. That means ingredients. And mei, which means name, presumably because the ingredients are listed by name. Here's where it says butaniku. That's pork, and so it looks like they're going to give us a little more information about the pork. And first, they tell us it's imported. That's what yunyu means. No problem so far, but next it says matawa or. Okay. And here it says koksan. Koksan means domestic. Just to make sure we're on the same page here, this label is for a product sold in Japan. So domestic means made in Japan, in this case. Imported means it came from outside Japan. It was made in a country other than Japan. Any country except Japan. Therefore, this package states that the pork was either produced in Japan or it was not produced in Japan. Call me crazy, but isn't writing this the same as writing nothing? There's no information here at all. If you were going to print pork, imported or domestic, you might as well have just saved some ink, because it's the same amount of information as if you only printed pork. I think that before reading this, we all knew that the pork was a product of some country somewhere. This label tells us that that country might be Japan, or then again, it might not. If it only said imported, I could cross Japan off the list. Ideally, I would like to know which country it's from, but at least knowing it's not from Japan is information. The amount of information would not be zero. If it only said domestic, I could be satisfied with that knowledge. Then again, I might get greedy and want to know which part of Japan, or the name of the farm, or something like that. I guess that would be reassuring, but it's not really necessary. But it says both, and in saying both, it says nothing. By the way, something else that I find amusing. Here, where it explains what the product is, it says pork sausage, but down here in the ingredients, it says butaniku. Unless I'm missing something, pork and butaniku mean exactly the same thing. It's no big deal to have two words that mean the same thing. I was just surprised to find them so close together in this explanation. The former is, of course, borrowed from English pork. The latter is made up of buta, the native Japanese word for pig, and niku, the word for meat, which, as it turns out, comes from ancient Chinese. But this is just par for the course in Japanese. If I were a native speaker, it probably wouldn't stand out at all. Just as English speakers are not likely to be conscious of pork coming from a Romance language, in contrast to swine being Germanic. I mean, in everyday life, it doesn't matter if a word is imported or domestic. Anyway, if you know the reason why it's written this way, please tell me. If I'm missing something, I'd be grateful to know what it is.